welcome back to another cup of conversation.
Where we have conversations worth having.
I am your host T,
and I'm your host Coco,
and welcome back to another episode of the Anywhere But There series. And as y'all can see, we're in another location. Today we are kicking it with our girl Ashley at Allure. This dope restaurant / bar.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
Bar lounge.
Bar lounge. That's what you got. I want to know how you named it. What you?
Yeah.
Bar
so go ahead and
lounge.
tell us about you and Allure.
Hey everyone, I am Ashley LaRue. I'm a Houston native. I attended North Shore. I left at the age of 16, moved to Los Angeles to pursue acting, stayed there for 2 years. At 18, I moved to Atlanta to go to school and stayed there for like 12 years. Way longer than I anticipated. But I met a boy, married him, and then drug him back to Texas.
Love that. He not from,
no,
is he from Atlanta?
He's born and raised in Atlanta.
Ooh.
Yes, he's a Georgia boy.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. You get him to leave his country and come to yours.
Exactly.
I know that's
Exactly.
His country, right?
Yeah, because it's country over there, but it's not like,
Right,
you know.
right.
It is.
But
It
no,
ain't
I laughed because it was like his country, like out of the country.
Yeah.
But it is like that. People look at Texas like it's like
all southern states.
Yeah.
Georgia feel like they they own thing. Like we feel like we.
And it's different. It is different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is. It's
It
a
is
different country.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, we wanted to link up and talk about entrepreneur versus like the corporate ladder.
Okay.
Because I work with a lot of, I am an entrepreneur, but I do still have my 9 to 5. I work with a lot of people who like believe in the corporate ladder lifestyle. Believe like, just work up to be a supervisor and this and that and the third. But to me, lately, going into my 30s, I'm realizing that job or that 9 to 5 isn't built to like make you financially successful.
Okay, yeah.
It's a stepping stool, but a lot of people think like, if they just put in the time and the work, that it will eventually make them financially successful. But I just don't see that for us, especially in this America we living in now. So my first question is just, why do you feel like you chose this entrepreneur path opposed to the, stepped out corporate ladder? I could be a doctor, I could be a nurse, I could be this, just working your way up.
This is really interesting. I don't know how much you know, but I recently graduated with my doctorate in psychology.
Okay.
So I feel like I'm a really good person to have this conversation with because I've literally done both.
Exactly,
I've done both.
exactly,
When I
perfect.
first graduated with my bachelor's, I worked corporate. I was an executive administrator. I made a good salary on paper, what people would consider a good salary. But I chose entrepreneurship for that main reason. I feel like when you are in the corporate, it depends on what you want out of life too. But when you work that corporate ladder, there's always a ceiling because there's a boss and they have to make more than you. And then there's the owner and they got to make more than the boss.
Exactly.
So there's this ceiling. And I feel like if I'm going to put in the work, because when I worked corporate, I worked hard. I mean, I work harder now as an entrepreneur, but I have the freedom to make as much as I want to, as little as I want to.
Yeah.
And it really... It's rough, but I literally control how much money I make, right? There's days where this bar is packed out, and I know that week I did a lot of promotion. That week I was in the streets doing word of mouth, and there's weeks where I don't feel like doing all of that, and it may be a little less packed in here, but it's in my hands.
Right.
If I feel like putting in the work and beating the streets, I know I have a packed bar on Friday.
Right.
If I feel like relaxing this week and just letting my regulars come in, I can do that too.
Yeah. The corporate ladder is just so, like you said, it's a ceiling to it.
Yeah.
I don't think, and like I said, in this new America where everything is like, and I know everybody like, you don't have to be an entrepreneur because everybody wants to be an entrepreneur after 2020 and the pandemic and stuff like that. But I feel like you gotta have like your hands in a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And I think too, entrepreneurship is good for who it's good for. But I also think that we need to open up the conversation about ways that your 9 to 5 can not make you an entrepreneur, but you can invest in a way that it will make sense.
Yeah.
And I think when I first got out of school and I started teaching, I didn't go into that with the idea like this is what I'm gonna be doing for the long haul, this is that. And when I went into it, first of all, I was so excited to be making more than $10 an hour from coming from Dairy Queen.
Right.
So, and then I didn't have no kids, and I was living at home with my parents still. So I'm like, okay, I'm just spending this money. So it looked like it was a lot of money until real life hit. So I think if someone would have told me, even at that smaller scale of a teacher, like my first year being a teacher, taking that $60,000 or that $55,000 that we were making in, and showing me ways to maneuver that money in a way that I wouldn't have to straight out and step out into being entrepreneurship, but it wasn't just this money that I'm making, and that's your cap.
Exactly.
And I don't know, it's different ways, I'm sure, investing in different things and stuff like that.
Yeah, people don't leverage their 9 to 5. I worked.
That's what I was thinking.
When I lived in Atlanta, I worked 3 jobs. Like I'm not afraid to work. And I tell when people ask me, people ask me all the time, "How did you start a bar? How did you start a bar?" And I'm like, "There's no philosophical answer. It's money." I had money saved up where I could get contractors in here to give me these type of books that I wanted, and this type of decor stuff that people walk in and appreciate, and make them want to come back. Is money. So if you have a 9 to 5 and you dream of being an entrepreneur, save your money. I don't have a secret recipe to success. It's hard work, capital, and preparation. I mean that's what it is. And I feel like a lot of times on Instagram, these like people that want to sell you these courses on how to be succel, it's a lot of bullshit. It's
if you don't have the money,
if I didn't have the money to rent this space, if I didn't have the money to remodel this place or buy the liquor or even apply for a liquor license, that's expensive. That was like $6,000. It's capital. So if you're in a 9 to 5 and you're making decent, my first job I was making $70,000, which at that time I thought, baby, I am rich. Okay, and if you're not capitalizing it and utilizing that income to get to where you want to go, if you want to be an entrepreneur, then you're doing yourself a disservice.
And I don't want to shit on like the corporate ladder way because like you were saying, a lot of people don't know how to funnel their money into places where it can work for them. They don't necessarily have to go out and be a bar owner or open a business or do anything that physically allows them to, makes them do something that's outside of their, comfort zone, what they're good at. But I think the lack of knowledge in our community around financial.
And that's what I was just saying. That's what it is, because even with just saving your money a certain way and paying yourself, even with a 9 to 5, like, that's what I'm like, when I've been talking about how we need to it's because now it's to the point where the money that I just had in my account when my check hit is not there anymore because it's allocated in certain way that it will make money for me. And now I'm basically getting the crumbs of my checks so I can, like you said, build that capital to have something to do later. You know what I'm saying? So it's really, you have to be very strategic. But like you saying, if you don't have the knowledge of how to be strategic, and when you spoke about people selling the classes, I feel like my personal opinion about people that sell classes are, when the product not selling, you become the product. So you can bet that, they might have this knowledge on how the product was selling at first and they're going to teach it to you. But 9 times out of 10, a lot of times when people move to mentorship and teaching, it's probably because the product that they got to teach you not moving like you need to move. Now you're the new product. Or it could be in addition to. Some people are really trying to put people on. If you have money, then put them on. But 9 times out of 10 is...
I mean, there are some good classes out there. No shade to y'all that teach classes.
Right.
But I do, like, just scrolling, I feel like a lot of it is BS. Because if people come to the bar and ask me all the time, and they'll tell you, why you don't gatekeep? And I'm like, there's nothing to gatekeep. I'm in competition with nobody. Not even any of the bars that are around here. I always tell people, McDonald's needs Burger King. CVS needs Walgreens. Target needs Walmart. Right? So if people come to the bar and ask me how I do it, I just tell them, this is how I did it. This is how it worked for me. You don't have to pay me to tell you. None of that. I just tell you what I did. It worked for me, and you can try it if you want to.
Because ultimately, it's not a trick that people have to opening a business. It's really, like you said, the hard work, the money to do it, and being prepared to do it.
So that was my next question. Y'all kind of answered it, but go in depth a little bit about what our entrepreneur ladder would look like to somebody that hasn't even dreamed of, somebody that's just been like, I'm a teacher, I'm gonna get my master's to be a professor, I'm gonna get my doctorate to be and then somebody, because I have friends that haven't even thought outside of the lane that they're in. But now that they're getting older, they want some kind of passive income. They want to relax and let their money come in. So for somebody who hasn't even thought of business, entrepreneur life, what would you say your corporate ladder look like?
it's not linear. I'll say that. It's not linear. It's inconsistent. It's a lot of failure. It's a lot of rejection. It's a lot of sleepless nights. It's a lot of imposter syndrome where you're thinking one day, I could do this, and the next day, like, who am I? I can't do this shit. Yes. I mean, even not, like, I still have, we've been open 7 months, and every week I'm like, are people gonna come? Are people gonna walk through the door?
Yeah.
Why would they come here? You know, but every week people come. Every week, you know, it's a successful week for us, but it's a maze. You know what I mean? Like,
and you still trying to do other stuff because you just said you got your degree. So you plan on getting back into the corporate world or
no? It's my own practice. So in order to, I have my own practice, and I'll plug that later. But in order to get my degree, I had to get supervised hours. So I had to work for someone for the past 2 years, and that's the first time I've done that since 2020. I've not worked.
I need that plug because I'm about to sit for my LPC, and I need LPCS.
Okay, nice. Yeah. So, I worked out of a facility in Ohio. It was all virtual, which was perfect, but I still had to abide by their rules and their, you know what I mean, which was fine. It was a really good company. I don't have anything negative to say, but it's still working for somebody, and I'm so used to working for myself. So I went 3 years of just being an entrepreneur, and then in 2023 I had to get my hours. So I worked there from 2023 to 2025. I just resigned in February of this year.
Okay.
But yeah, I am a busybody. I have so many passions. People always joke and say, "What haven't you done?" I taught for a year. I was a flight attendant for a little bit. I mean, I've done it all. I was a makeup artist. And that's how I knew entrepreneurship was for me, because I'm such a creative that anything that is linear is going to bore me to death, even if I made great money. When I had that executive administrator position, I quit, and that's when I had to get the 3 jobs just to make the same amount that I was making with that one job. And people thought I was nuts. I quit. I worked at Bare Minerals makeup counter in the mall. I worked for Barbizon as a director of education, and then I was also a wig maker for a big wig company that I will not name. But I made the wigs. 3 jobs just to maintain my same lifestyle. But I was so much happier with all these creative outlets that I had. Yeah.
Okay, so with that, do you feel like with you being a creative and you wanting to not do anything that's just one way, have you found yourself picking up, putting down?
Yes, and I have ADHD.
Okay.
So listen.
Because as you're talking, I'm like, she sounds so similar. And like, and my husband, he always tell me like, okay, what you doing now? And he always say that, but I'm like, I don't know. And I just told my mentor, I was like, I feel like I seen a girl on TikTok, and that's why you gotta stay on TikTok, because they start talking and they try to sound like, it make you feel like they're you. But what she was saying was, do you feel like, because sometimes I feel like I have grand ideas and I want to do it, and then I'll do it. I'll step out. I'll do whatever the front thing is to do, and then I'll get at the brink of like, okay, showing it and doing it, and then I'm like, do I really want to do this? Yeah. And I do that so much, and I was talking to my mentor about it, because I was like, I feel like I'm disappointing God with the ideas that he give me, and I'll start and then I don't finish it. Yeah. But it's like, I think what talks me out of it is that imposter syndrome as well, and then also thinking about long term. I always try to think ahead of, are you going to want to do this in 3 years? But I'm trying to find a mix of, it's okay if you don't want to do it in 3 years. That's why I asked that question. Do you find yourself like, this is what, because I did my master's in 2017, and I was supposed to get an LPC then, and I stopped and I became an entrepreneur and then never picked it up. But now I'm like, I want to do that again, and so I just find myself, like you said, not wanting to be one way, and I think that gets in the way though, because it will. Everybody don't appreciate that, or everybody don't find that as a, you know what I'm saying, like a good thing. People look at that as a bad thing. Yeah.
Well, I think first is acceptance, because I used to feel bad about that. People, like, you know, people will make comments, because think about our parents' generation, grandparents' generation. You got one job, you stuck with it, and that was your security.
Exactly.
So in my mind, that was the right way to do things, even though that didn't sit well with my spirit. So I had to, one, accept, okay, this is who I am. I like to do a lot of things. Next year, I might go to law school. Who knows?
Right.
And as soon as I accepted it about myself, it was easier to maneuver through, you know, all these things that I had in my head, all these ideas. But I will say, the main ingredients to success, or the thing that's missing between, is going to be seeing it through. And no judgment, because I was you. When my mom met my husband, she said, this girl has 13 businesses in my garage. Just take 3 of them. Because I was the type to start a new business. I would tell my mom about it and then
get a logo, buy the product.
And it was all in her garage.
Tia tell you I got a whole storage of.
Yes.
She do. And I'm just stepping into this lane because I come from a parent or a family who works non-5, who has corporate ladder jobs, who, you know, work up. And my mom's been working for years now, like, so, and I'm seeing the success in that corporate ladder, you know,
because it's success in it,
but it's not for me.
Right.
I've tried it. I've tried, like, and
but
then
is it not for you? Because I can see you and your mom being 2 different people. Your mom is not a elaborate type of nice, you know, like, I'm not saying she has bad stuff, but I'm saying she doesn't care about, like, you know, certain things, material things, or going on vacation at least 3 times a year. Like, you know, she is okay. That's why you say you have to know who you are. Because that has worked for her because of that lifestyle that she lives.
Not be ashamed about what you expect out of life. If you're okay with your nice big old country house in the you know, country, and you got your land and you got your grandkids and you got this, that, and that's the life that's cool for you, that's cool for you. That's not what I see from you.
Right.
And even if we're from the same, you know, we grew up in the same way, you raised me the same way, your mama raised you the same thing. It just, she even said herself, like, I didn't see you sticking to, you know, going to school for criminal justice. I was, you know, that was cool because you were interested in law and crime and stuff like that, but that you too in and out. You too creative. You have too many ideas and you try to do too much, because I was even like that in high school. Whatever's going to not really make us a little money, but get that creative spark out. Like, and making a little money was the plus.
It's a plus.
You know, you set it up to make a little money, but to have people know that you set this up, that you put this together, and
the transformation.
It feels good. The feeling from it kind of feels better.
Yeah, I agree. And again, like, knowing what you want. I know I like money. I like nice things. I like going on vacations. I like, and everybody isn't like that, and that's fine. That works for them. But I know $70,000 a year wasn't going to get me the vacations I wanted, the house I wanted. But I knew that I wasn't going to get that with that career.
Right.
And so, you know, I had multiple things pulling me to entrepreneurship. My creative, that corporate ceiling, financial ceiling. I couldn't do that. So, you know, it was just by design, basically.
To me, I think that what leads me more to entrepreneurship is I can't take the like, go along and get along of corporate. You know what I mean? Like,
especially as a black woman.
Let's smile at each other. Let's act like you just didn't piss me the fuck off 15 minutes ago. You know, like, the go along and get along kind of like. And when I want to separate myself from stuff like that, I want to be able to. And I don't want to have to tell nobody, I'm not explain how I'm feeling to somebody who's doing everything that they can to not understand. You know what I mean? So I think it takes a lot, but, like, we have a lot of people in our community who's stuck in that old mentality that go to school, get a job, and work this job for 20 years. But that,
I think we coming out of that, though. I think
our generation, for sure.
Yeah. I think we coming out, especially now seeing, like, the kids. They don't even.
Gen Z got it.
Yeah, they don't even believe. Like, it's even hard to, like, I'm in middle school level. It's even hard to get them to value education because of the success that they are being able to obtain and they see without it. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it's hard to convince them, like, you're gonna be able to do that, but add this piece because it's important too.
Still got to do the business aspect.
And so
but they got a good blend of us because they like, we understand the importance of still having a 9 to 5. They all
or just education, or
education and stepping stools, like to get to where you need to go. They feel like it can be an overnight thing. It can be an instant success. But that's how like the early 2000s was, and like when people was getting fucked over in bad deals and this and that. Like people was just hoping to go out and get seen, go out and get. And that's why you have to have the knowledge behind what you want to do or what you striving for. You can't just jump out there, because these young kids, I be telling them people in my job this all the time. I work like an old school place, and they kind of live in the old saying. And I tell them all the time, y'all not gonna get nobody in here younger than me that's putting up with this. You know what I mean? Like y'all have to change the ways and the way y'all move about the go along, get along, and my attitude's gonna be my attitude. You gotta put up with it because you need a job. Y'all not gonna get these young kids like that. These young kids ain't standing for that. They don't care if you paying $25 an hour. They'll cuss you out and walk up out of there.
Truly,
you're not gonna get nobody younger than me playing them games.
Truly.
So what would you say for you? I know it's gonna be different for everybody, but what would you say is success for you?
Ooh.
And do you feel like you've obtained success?
I don't think I will ever.
Okay.
Feel like that. Like I just reposted something that says something like, I'm always so focused on the next thing that I don't even realize I'm already living the dream. I'm like, Lord, that is me. But I think freedom. I have 2 small kids. I guess by that right, I am successful. I have 2 small kids. I like to be able to wake up and have slow mornings with them where we're not rushing off to school, or, yesterday I wanted to spend the day with them, so I didn't even come up here. I wouldn't have that freedom at a 9 to 5 to say, hey, I want to hang with my kids today. So I think it's financial freedom and time freedom. Right now, I do have financial freedom. Time freedom is a little bit harder for me to get, even though I own this bar. It's still days where I do have to be here because I don't have a manager on duty, or somebody called in, or whatnot. But I just think it's freedom, financial and time, is when I feel like I'm successful. When I could be like Magic Johnson on my yacht, on a Tuesday.
So I asked the question at a business class one time. And I asked them, like, does it ever get to that point? Because, even though we see him in those small pockets on the yacht, is he really that free of time?
Yeah.
Of course, maybe, like you said, financially, but free of time, because, like, does it ever stop? Does it ever just say, okay, I can be on the beach for the rest of my life at this point?
I think you choose when to stop, right? And what I mean by that is, if he decided to not work any of his businesses ever again today, he would be financially okay.
Like if you felt he was good enough, where he was at.
I couldn't decide that today. I might be good for a few years, but then the money will run out.
Right.
But I think if I get to a place where if I never worked again, I have enough to sustain.
What do y'all think that number is?
Child, don't ask me, because the people
especially in America, like we just
when I talk about money on the internet,
the other day, like everything just keep on going up. So how could
that's what I mean
think I'm too fancy if I give my number? They don't be like, girl, you don't need all this money. But
I think so, though. I don't know what your number is, but I don't think that, I would say a large number too, just because, and I would almost think that it doesn't stop. That's why I asked y'all that question, because the thing about it is, even if he did have the business and everything running for him, I don't think that he will be able to stop, only because just because your broke is not my broke doesn't mean it's not broke.
Right.
So you needing $500,000 today to close a deal, and I need $50 to put gas in my car.
Yeah.
We both broke at that point.
Exactly.
I tell people all the time, perspective is reality, right?
Yeah.
If you woke up this morning and there was only $1 million in your bank account, you'd probably be like, oh, hey. If Beyonce woke up and only saw $1 million in her bank account, she would be like, what the hell happened?
Because to keep her lifestyle, you need way more.
Exactly. My last question is something that we was talking about with our podcast and building this as a business. Coco asked us last night in our group message, how do you correlate or run parallel with the amount of time and money you invest into your businesses before you kind of put it up to the next, into your like income?
Okay, this is a really good question because prior to this, I was all about passion. If I was passionate about it, I'm going to spend all my money, all my time until I see it through because this is my vision. I got to see my vision.
Right.
And then I got burnt. So I was going to open a brunch restaurant before this, and I was exhausting all of my finances, all of my time until I lost over $100,000. And I just thought, this it's time to hang it up before you have nothing left. And so this is called sunken cost fallacy. Sunken cost fallacy is the idea that I've invested so much time, so much money that I cannot give up, even though
it's showing
that it'd be more beneficial for me to give up. And people do this in relationships. Oh, I've been with him 5 years and whatever. So it applies to all things. And I just really had to use my psych degree on myself and say, hey, it's okay to walk away. You don't have to abandon the vision, but this is not the path. And so I prayed about it and I said, Lord, the next thing I want it to feel so easy that I know it's you. And if I tell y'all how this came about, it was just, I didn't even try. I was driving. My sister, so like I said, I lived in Atlanta. So I really wasn't familiar with Humble anymore because I left here at 16. So my sister used to come here when it was the corner. And she was like, yeah, it was always packed. And she said, it closed down. I was like, okay. And I drove. My husband was like, let's call the number. I called it. They said, yeah, it's still available. And I talked to the landlord. They were really nice. We'll give you X amount of free months of rent until you build out. Okay. Then I called a builder. Yeah, I'm available. I can start now. I can get this done in 5 weeks. Okay. Built this. I knocked it down and it was built in 5 weeks. I did more in 5 weeks than I did the 2 years I was trying to open the other spot.
Wow.
And it was just easy flowing. The liquor license was easy flowing. I couldn't get the liquor license at the other place because it was 50 feet too close to the all-girls school.
Wow.
This was just like easy selling. So to answer your question about like how much time or money I put in there, now, to be smart, I have a number in my head, what I'm willing to spend on a project before I see any type of profit or return.
Okay.
And once that number hits, if it's not making progress, I may try to utilize some other resources, but I'm all about adding in that spiritual aspect now because once I included God into this program, it was just like gliding.
And you just said a whole word.
I was just going to say a whole mouthful.
Because I had a spa in Humble next to the Cafe East that's in the parking lot with O'Reilly's.
Oh, okay.
All that stuff right there. And I had that spa for 3 years, and I had been in business only 5 years because I had another spa in a rinky-dink location for like a year and a half. And I closed that last year in February, the spa. And that was that's really like literally what I was saying to myself, like, it's okay.
It's okay.
At what cost are you gonna like keep this going for the sake of because you did so much? I thought about like, and your building is beautiful.
Thank you.
Like beautiful, and like you said, I had put like damn near $200,000 into this building.
Oof.
Like you said, your own money, like no bank loans, none of that stuff, and like.
That's a whole nother conversation about
which I would tell you. This is my advice. If you can get a loan, get a loan. If I could do things over, I thought that was bossy to like. I did this no loan. It is so financially dumb.
No, for
my
real.
Next project, I'm definitely going to utilize the bank money. That was so dumb. But that's another. That is
that's another conversation.
But yes, get a loan.
Please get a loan. But. That's the thing that for me that it was like you gained all these clients, like you just don't need the clients, and it's like the building, and then it's like, okay, so if you stop this, that means your income stops. And so like, do you want to keep this going and drag it until you find something else? And like you said, God just told me, he was like, if I did it one time, I can do it again, and I can do it bigger. Like I can do this however you want to let me do it, however you think
Yeah.
What you tell me your desires, and I'm gonna tell you my plan on how to make that happen, or how to make it better than what you think you're thinking of. And so that is a real thing, like just exhausting yourself because of what you've already done.
Yeah, for passion.
Yeah.
And just because you put
and
so
just
much
money
time.
too.
Yeah, just because you put so much time into it.
Money in it.
Coco, if I could speak to that spa for a little second, I know that's where we our stomping grounds. Like, I was shocked that you let it go, but I didn't want to be one of them voices that, because I know at that time you was already telling me so many people like, Coco, why you stopping the spa? Like, you ain't even give it a good try. Like, you could go a little longer and it might make some money sooner or later.
Literally, I just got this job.
Dang.
This last year in December as a teacher, I said I'm just gonna. The weight of being an entrepreneur is not just the stuff that people see or hear about, even online. It's the stuff that y'all don't see and don't hear about. And what helped me make the decision for me was not only was for God telling me like it's okay for me to just do this, to stop. It was so much more like about my well-being as a person, trying to keep something that wasn't supposed to be kept.
Yeah.
It almost kind of like a sickness that wear on your body.
Yeah.
And that's how I felt about it. I felt like it was very stressful, and even leaving in February and not having my own income until December of later that year, I felt the most like liberated than I had ever felt, with no money coming in, not knowing where.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so it was even more of a eye opener to me that God is so real, for one. And that like what we think that we need, we don't even really need. It's just a want. And that's okay to have wants and desires and stuff like that. But like just stepping outside of myself and saying like what you just said, it's okay.
Yeah.
It is okay. And you know, too, my ideal of what failure is way different than most people, right? Like, some people may say she opened a spa for 3 years and she failed.
Yeah.
To me, to successfully open a business and run it for 3 years successfully, that is a success. You're not meant to do it for 100 billion years.
Exactly.
So whatever the time frame is, I may do this bar for the length of my least 5 years and then move on.
Right.
To me, I'm still very successful.
And that's what one of the things. My husband, he really, really, really good at like motivating me and like looking at the positive side. I think a lot of men are. We kind of focus on their hypersensitive to stuff. But he was like, Krista, think about it. The people that you're worried about saying X, Y, and Z
ain't on the.
They ain't never even.
Darren Grayley. If y'all don't know who Brene Brown is, love her. She was a professor at U of H and went viral for her take her studies on vulnerability. And she has this quote called Darren Grayley, and we'll have to look it up later. But she's quoting somebody, but basically she's saying like, the people in the stands are judging the people that are in the arena. Like you can't judge me if you're not willing to get in the arena.
Exactly.
I always say, entrepreneurs that come in here, sing my praises. I don't care if I messed up that day, if I messed up their order, they sing my praises.
And I think we do give each other more grace.
We give each other more grace. The people who give me the most criticism
have never done nothing.
I say the people who give me the most constructive criticism ain't never constructed nothing.
Exactly.
And I know, because when they come in here, you know, they have the most to say. They you know, those are people that complain.
Look for something.
And I'm just like, the business owners, they recognize, you know, even say if I'm short-staffed, business owners, they automatically recognize that. You must be short-staffed.
And that's how I knew my mindset was a little on a different side, because I always be like, what are they going through in the back end? Like, I know I have a certain level of empathy for consideration for people, but like, what's going on the back end? Because I know people be dealing with stuff that a lot of us just cannot see, and some people they ignore that. That's not even a thought in their mind. Like, they don't think about
because,
that at
you
all.
know, as entrepreneurs, we're always thinking about multiple things in other people. People that usually work a 9 to 5, they live in their own little bubble, right?
Yeah.
So if I go to a restaurant and my food doesn't come out as soon as I order it, it's my world. Whereas an entrepreneur, I'm thinking, I wonder if it's short staff, or I'm like, did they drop it and they remade it? You know, or like whatever. I always have these scenarios in my head and give them grace, and especially in the service industry. But I do notice that the entrepreneurs that come in here always give me grace.
I love that.
As they should. I have one thing that I want to ask y'all. And I saw this video driving over here, and it kind of made sense, but I'm still thinking about it because I'm like, I don't know yet. But basically this guy, it's a lady, and she has this thought that ideas are steadily moving. Like they're almost kind of like they're people. Ideas are people, and you're not who you are. You're becoming. You have to become who you are. And he's saying, like, basically, if an idea comes upon you, it's not can you do it. It's do you create the capacity to do it. It's not about can you do it. And or it's gonna just move on to the next person type of thing. And so I was like, I get that. Like it's a floating around. Ideas like a floating around thing. It's almost kind of like a spirit. That's why I said I don't know how to feel about it yet, because I'm like, what is this woman talking about?
But I mean, I see that. You know, I see that. You know, I tell people all the time, like, I'm not special. You know, like me doing, I'm no different than you or anybody else. It's my ability to execute. Right. To execute what comes to mind. I agree. That's the only difference.
I agree, because a lot of people say they want to do a podcast. A lot of people say they want to do this and want to do that.
And they can do it.
And even when Coco, like, when we came up with the idea of doing it, she was like, Tia wanted to do this. I executed that. Like, it was like an idea that wouldn't leave my bubble. So I was like, I gotta put, make the creative space and the time for that to see how that's gonna pan out. It's working out.
I just wanted y'all.
No, that makes sense,
because I'm like, and that's why when I said earlier, sometimes I feel like I let God down because I don't.
You let that idea skip over you, like that idea spirit.
Just go. Just because of whatever the reason may be. You know, some things I take, but then some things I'm like, nah.
Sometimes we might let them down, but luckily we have a forgiving God and a gracious God to keep on sending them by.
Right. And so that's what my mentor kind of said. He was like, you think about God as how you think about people. That's you can't do that. He was like, God is not schizophrenic. He don't feel one way about us and then feel a different way about us. He already knows that you're probably not gonna pick up, do this, or you're not gonna do that. So he's not gonna say, "Oh, I'm mad at you." Because,
like, disappointed or not, he still like love you and care and like, all right, I'm gonna
provide a new idea.
I'm gonna do it again. I'm gonna do it again.
You
know, so.
But this was really good.
This was good. Thank you for coming to share your insights today, because I think a lot of people needed to hear what you had to say, because they think that people like you sitting here looking gorgeous, of course. You know, they might see what you have on, or the things you have, or the things you put together for this restaurant and business, and they might think you have it all together. You always,
listen.
You know the answers, but I like that you came on here and put a perspective and a face to a real idea, a real
It's not always pretty. I'll tell you that, it's not always pretty.
Right.
And it's not people, like new people that just meet, and people who know me know, but people that meet me, they're like, they call me like boss this and boss that. I'm like, I do everything that all these workers do. Right. I mean, y'all saw she was in here. I started cleaning tables. I started sweeping. When you're the owner, a good owner, you're gonna work every position. When we first started and we didn't have enough cooks, so the business grew 200% in 2 weeks. So I was not prepared staff-wise to handle that type of. I was on the fryer. I was in there frying. I come in here. I'd wash up and pour some drinks. I was in here waiting tables. I was in here sweeping. Like, you have to be an entrepreneur. You got to get out that mindset that I'm the big boss. You're the everything. You the janitor. You the cook. You the.
But that is another topic though, because on the flip side of that, you are the boss. Give me 5 minutes here. You are the boss, and in order to be the boss, in order to be the owner and do it well, sometimes you do have to step out of the worker mentality, or not even mentality, the worker space. Not even. Don't forget it. But step out of it, because it can. Like for me, for my spa, I tried so hard to step out of being just the worker. Like, I was the owner, but I was also so much of a worker that the structure of it was falling slowly, because I'm so focused on this worker part, because I can't get the help I need, or my clients, they only want to get a massage by me. Like, it's crazy stuff.
They will come up in there and say that, what Coco? Girl, lay on this table.
Right. Like, even if I wanted to be outdoors, like promoting my business or trying to network or whatever the case may be. It was very hard because I was that worker. So it's that's the thing about, like you said, entrepreneur. It's not this one way street. It's like up, down, side, back, flip it. Like it was a lot.
Yeah. But it got to make sense, and you got to have passion about it to create the time and the space.
And congratulations on all of this. This is amazing.
This is beautiful.
Very much, like you said, people call you boss, girl boss. Very much.
It's giving that. Y'all can check it out when y'all see it in person. Y'all gonna see what we talking about.
Yes.
So thank you again for coming on.
Thank y'all.
Until next time, we'll see y'all next week.
Bye.
Thank
y'all.
This was good.
This was cute.